As well as race conditions, other problems can occur when several threads are trying to access the same resources at the same time, especially when working with databases. In this lesson, you'll see the problem that multiple threads can cause and solve it using the lock statement. To begin, open the Mathland project from your sample files folder. And open the code behind file of primes.aspx if it isn't open already. Now you're going to add some code that will log the number of prime numbers that have been calculated to the database. Add the following code to the end of the calculatePrimes method. Using Mathland data context data equals new Mathland data context int total tested equals value from and to array 1 minus value from and to array 0 var log equals data dot primeslogs dot first log dot primeslog total tests plus equals total tested data dot submit changes. This code takes the total number of calculations that the calculatePrimes method made and saves it into the first record in the primeslog database table. Now you're going to test the page and see the problem that is being caused by your multi-threading code. Click Debug, Start Debugging. Now enter 100 into the maximum value box and click Calculate Primes repeatedly until an error occurs. This kind of error won't happen consistently, so you may need to click 3 or 4 times before the error occurs. This error occurred because 2 threads attempted to update the database at exactly the same time. Stop debugging now and return to Visual Studio. You're going to fix the problem using the lock statement. The lock statement makes any code inside it exclusive. This means that it can only be executed by one thread at a time. Add a new property to the class by adding the following code outside any event handlers. Private object locker equals new object. This object will be used by the lock statement to determine whether its code is currently in use. It's best practice that the object used for the lock statement is not used for anything else, and to use a different object for every lock statement. Now add the following code to the calculatePrimes method surrounding the code that updates the database. Lock locker. This lock statement ensures that everything inside its curly brackets can only be executed by one thread at a time. When the code in the lock statement is being executed, a value is placed in the locker object, indicating that it is locked. That is, the code is in use. If a thread reaches the lock statement while locker is locked, it will simply wait until it becomes unlocked. You could duplicate this functionality by using a bool object and the thread.sleep method, as in this example. Public bool isLocked equals false. While is locked, thread.sleep 1000. Is locked equals true, then your code to update the database, and then is locked equals false. The lock statement is primarily used when working with multiple threads, to prevent conflicts like the one you saw in this lesson. Test your code now by viewing primes.aspx in your browser. Now enter 100 into the maximum value box and click Calculate Primes several times. No more errors occur. Your lock statement has stopped the threads from trying to access the database at the same time. Close your web browser now and close Visual Studio. You've now completed Lesson 3.8. Use the lock statement to prevent threads from conflicting.